I am Chris Von Erich. That's hot. Are you serious? If you walk around looking like that, you deserve it. I got something to say about that. This is The Red Lens. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my God, it's been far too long for me. I can't believe it. You guys don't even want to know what has been going on, but maybe I'll get into it later on. Who knows? But I want to say hello, thank you to everybody out there. My goodness. I've gone through a lot of stuff recently, but I'll tell you, it's great to be back. All right, it is awesome to be back. Messing around with my lighting, messing around with new stuff in here. So give me a break in terms of what things look like. Okay, so. I'm also trying to stream all over the place here, but whatever. I know we're on YouTube. I know we are streaming live on Instagram. So I got that going. Let's put my ticker up here. Let's go here. Buying. There we go. All right. Where the hell is the ticker? There it is. The ticker is there, allmylinks.com/the red lens. Literally, if you want to get anything regarding this show, the channels, all the multimedia, it is there. The call-in studio line, actually, I'm going to take that down as I bring that back up. Thank you all who are donating via Cash App. You can do that. $ Chris Von Erich. That's awesome if you can. I keep friggin' putting that up there. No, that's the one I want. YouTube.com/@the-red-lens. That is literally the home of the channel. From there, you can find the new clips channel for those too long didn't read or couldn't listen guys, Hey now. You're out there. So, what did I want to talk about tonight? In my first time back, I'm going to try to keep this Thursday 8 p.m. slot here. I think it's a good slot. If for those of you who remember the old channel that we had, the old program was 8 p.m. Actually, I think it was more like 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will say that Franklin, it will be here and there. We're working on some logistics. He finally got himself a new place to live, so he's no longer freeloading on people's couches. He's no longer doing that. Gay! And living that way, So good for him. So let me just get there. So what else did I want to say here? I have some notes and stuff we're going to go over. We are going to go over tonight. I wanted to, as I come back here, I wanted to come back in a way that I think, and a lot of other creators, Rollo Tomasi and a few other people have been saying this, that the red pill has kind of been cannibalized and bastardized in so many different ways here in the last couple of years. We just got through an election cycle, so people were co-opting red pill for political purposes. And, I understand that. Everybody wants to get on the new hotness, so be that as it may. But I wanted to get back to the principles that the red pill have been founded on. Okay. And one of those, as you could see the thumbnail, I always try to, kind of put an underlying message in the thumbnail. Everybody's got game. And the reason I put the old timers up there, the picture of the guy walking down the boardwalk in 1950s beach, could have been anywhere. Could have been California in the 50s. Could have been in, 40 minutes from here, Brooklyn boardwalk. It is all the same. Okay. Everybody has game. Everybody has an idea of how to speak to somebody of the opposite sex. Even chicks have an idea of how they're supposed to take in and respond to guys that are trying to give them game, try to, give them their best line, etc. So everybody has a concept, whether it's, they got it from a book or they got it from watching TV or from movies as they grew up, getting game and understanding intersexual dynamics and how you want to convey your want, desire, your like for the opposite sex, that is ingrained, okay, over time. And we constantly have like the aspect of what comes first, nature or nurture? What is it? Well, what is that dynamic there? Well, what is most impressionable? Is it your environment you grow up in? Okay. Your experiences, or is it nurture? Is it how you're brought up, etc., like that, or conversely, the nature is, innate, fight or flight, things like that. So there's always a tug of war, as it were, with that. So my feeling on it is that everybody through the course of growing up, and probably guys, but probably by the time that you're friggin' 8 years old, okay, and you're understanding that, hey, Sally, there's something about Sally that I want to hang out with and get to know her. You may not even know it at that point, what it is or why it is, but you want to do it. You want to talk to her. You want to get to know her. You want to hang out with her. Okay. So at that point, even in your young mind like that, as it's growing, you are figuring out how to best, talk to her, to get in her good graces, AKA pick her up, obviously not picking up an 8-year-old, I mean, that's kind of strange.
Oh my.
But you have an idea of best practices, right? And as you get older, that gets more defined. It gets more clear. You hopefully refine your skills, okay, to the point where you can actually become better at it. You can become more streamlined. You can become, dare I say, a master or an artist, as it were. Okay. So I went back and forth on what I wanted to do in terms of how to illustrate this, and a couple of things. I figured, we take a look at some crazy TikTok videos here, but they're not too crazy because I think they kind of illustrate what's out there right now and the dating world and how people do not interact or know how to interact with each other is pretty glaring. Okay. I mean, guys today in I guess they would be considered millennial generation, like the people that were born after 9/11, I guess. It's pretty scary in terms of what they think and what they have no clue in terms of speaking to anybody of the opposite sex like that. I mean, they're more in their, I don't have my phone with me, but they're more in their phones like this, looking down than looking up. So I thought the best way to kind of illustrate this a little bit is see a few man on the street things here. So let's Let's take a look here. I think I got the first one queued up. It's right. Here we go. Let's share this one. Let's see what this says. Wait a second. There we go.
Whoa! How to pick up a girl?
I don't know, just be yourself. Just be yourself and like don't try to be someone else. Just be yourself, guys.
Okay. Well, that's what a female says. Is it possible that I can pick you up?
Yeah, I'm down, okay?
Yeah, okay. Let me pull up my phone.
Oh no. Maybe take her out for lunch. I don't know.
For lunch.
Or for dinner.
Yeah, dinner. That sounds better for sure.
Yeah. Or go for a walk.
Go for a walk. This is how you pick her up, yeah?
Yeah.
What? Man, first you need to actually pick her up to get on a walk, no?
By car.
By bus.
Oh, hell no, man.
I think you have to be very friendly and not sexual. So when you go to a girl, you don't say, "Oh, you look very sexy" or something.
Yeah, that's
I
creepy.
think
You're right.
Yeah, that's unattractive.
What is attractive?
When a man says what he wants, but in a nice way.
Okay, I don't really know what I don't know what to say to that one right there. I really don't. Let me just stop. That's there we go. Drop myself back in there. Okay, let's be serious here, guys. You know, let's be serious. Now, do you think? First of all, taking these men on the street, and when they're popping in and asking chicks, what they feel about this or the other thing. I mean, do we really think that they're going to tell us the truth? All right. Now, she just basically said like, "Oh, well, don't be so forceful and talk sexy and use innuendos and stuff like that." Well, you have to use those. I mean, you cannot come across boring, and that's literally what she's kind of saying. Oh, just come across, be nice, be gentlemanly, And a lot of guys will say this in the sphere when they're talking about this. Girls will tell you what they look for in terms of being an idyllic vision and scenario with a guy. Okay. They're not going to tell you what they like when it's the right guy. When the guy is congruent, when he knows what he's talking about, when he's actually is forceful. Okay. She even let it slip there, the last girl, where she's like, "Oh, well, he's got to be, he's got to be determined, Well, yeah. But even that determined guy who's congruent, that knows what he's doing, if he sells the innuendo joke well, she's going to laugh about it. She's going to like that. It's when you flub on yourself and you come across like, "Hey, do you like me? That hat looks good on you." When you come across like that, yeah, she's probably going to call the cops, She's gonna definitely call the cops on you.
I'm a loser.
You'll feel that way. So let's see what the next one is here. The next victim in this thing that I have here. Let's see. All right. I think. Here we go. Yeah, this should be. Now, remember how I was talking about how it could be very cringe? Well, let's take a look.
Are you thinking what I'm thinking?
What?
I grab your number, we fall in love, maybe head to Europe or a couple kids eventually down the line, but we'll see.
I'm talking to someone.
Nice to meet you. I'm someone. Yeah, I'll just grab your digits and we'll figure it out from there, right?
I feel like I have to let you at this point.
Are you thinking what I'm
Well, you know what? I gotta give him credit. That guy, you know, he totally crashed and burned. It was probably a setup. It was probably one of those setup things, but I gotta give him credit. But that's cringe. Okay, that's you know, that's an example of what you don't want to do. You know, you don't want to go up there and not have a, you know, not have a plan to what you're going to say. And you know, this goes for everything. Okay, this goes for whether you just want to talk to somebody in general. You know, you need to know what you're going to say about something before you say it. And the thing that the guys have a problem with is you can do that when it comes to your job, when it comes to hanging out with your buddies, because it has become natural over time. Well, talking to people of the opposite sex, that can get natural as well, but you got to do it. You got to, you know, you got to practice it. You got to do it. You got to, I hate to say it, but you got to go out there and you got to, you know, crash and burn. You got to burn out a lot before it becomes natural for you. But it can become natural. Now, I thought I had one other thing here. Let me see. I thought I had one other. Yes, I do. I had one other TikTok, and this one is a chick giving us some pointers, and you know how I feel about that. I am not somebody that likes to or vouches for the fish to tell me how to catch it, because you can't learn that way. Because see my point before, the girl is going to tell you what you want to hear, or what is the general best response for what I want in a guy. It's not going to be what she desires. Okay. Now there's two different things for chicks out there. Okay. There is what a girl wants in terms of long term, and what she desires. Okay. A lot of times when you ask a girl, oh, well, you know, what are the best things to look for, you know, in a guy? Well, what are the qualities? And they'll spout out what the best traits are in general of a person. You know, honest, you know, caring, gets along with his, you know, mom and dad, is kind and courteous, you know, law abiding. You know, it's literally they're talking about a goddamn Boy Scout. You know, like I think that's the oath of the friggin' Boy Scouts is everything I just said there that a chick would tell you. But no, they're not going to tell you that, you know, I want him to be hot. I want him to know what he's doing. I want him to be self-assured. I want him to, you know what he's doing in the bedroom, you know, rock my world. You know, that stuff doesn't play on, you know, public domain. You know, if a chick comes out and says stuff like that, the comments are going to be like, oh, she's a big time snoot, you know. It's not going to go over too well, you know, in the comments section if a girl posts something like that. But if she posts what I just said before about, you know, kind, reverent, trustworthy, you know, loves everybody, you know, is deep in his emotion, you know, you know, who wants to do that? You know, deep in my emotions. That's
I'm a loser.
That's what you are if you're deep in your emotions. But let's for argument's sake, let's take a look at what this girl had to say. I mean, you guys tell me what you think, and that's the live chat here, or even on replay when you're watching this tomorrow, whatever, whenever you watch it.
And I've been asked out before, so I can tell you what I like and what I don't like. Firstly, cheesy pickup lines are not it. Are you an angel because you look just fell from heaven? Please. The reason for this is that girls want to feel special. We don't want to feel like you're just sliding into every single girl's DM with that same pickup phrase. First thing to do is not to just directly attack. Oh my god, I would love to go out with you. You are so beautiful. No. Instead, start with some conversation. How you can start the conversation is maybe a quirky response to someone's story or the dating profile. Ease in the conversation, guys. If it feels like she's reciprocating, then you can kind of lead into the question. The way you ask the question is extremely important as well.
All right. So, I mean, what do you guys think out there? I mean, God. I mean, she makes some good points, I guess. Some good points. But again, if Chad Roan drops into her DMs, the guy could just be like, "Hey, what's up?" And there's your response. But so there is a qualifier there. But I have to agree with her in terms of if you got to be very careful when you're hitting girls up via DM, whether it's Instagram or wherever, Facebook. You have to make sure that you're coming correct with being direct, but not being so bleh. You don't want to be like typing verbal throw up, in the response. I would keep it quick, precise, and that's it. And if you have your social media right, then you'll probably get a response. Okay. Now, if you're responding to any and all OF girl out there, has her website, etc. Be real. You're gonna get bots. You're gonna get links for signing up for membership and stuff like that. I'm talking about real chicks, okay? Or maybe somebody in passing through friends. That you can make, you can do it and make sure that you're doing it, correctly. Absolutely. One of the things I wanted to do too, and I actually was hunting around for clips, is I wanted to find a quick little video that talked about game in general, and especially game today in the current year that we're in. So let's take a look at this.
Like when I was writing the 5th book, The Player's Handbook, a lot of people people kept asking me like, Rollo, what's the best book to learn game? I'm like, you don't learn game from a book, man.
Yeah, man.
And so you have to be out there and immerse yourself. So if you want to learn how to speak Spanish, go live in a Spanish country, and you will learn to speak Spanish at some point, out of necessity, right? Because you're in this immersion situation right there. But the thing is, I think back in the
now, just for context, okay. Obviously, this is taken from the Fresh and Fit podcast, and Sterling Cooper, who I interviewed, he's actually on. You can see that interview on the Red Lens channel. Rollo is there, obviously in the middle. Interviewed him, and Mike Sartain is the guy next to him. He actually has Access Vegas, the actual channel. Very, very cool. If you like seeing like hot chicks, and it's Vegas, okay. I'm not gonna fool anybody here. It's the Vegas girls, or girls from near Vegas, Cali. There's a couple people from my neck of the woods in New York. They fly out there, but it's a good channel. It's fun, but let's see what these guys have to say about game in general.
in the mid 2000s when this stuff was coming out. Like, I think a lot of people still look at like PUA as like, you know, Mystery with his black fingernail polish and feather boa and everything. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But you're talking about an archetype or you know, like a guy like Mystery that's like almost 20 years ago.
Yeah.
You know, and so we're still clinging to that as sort of like this something that's ridiculous because we want to poke fun at it. But what you can't poke fun at right now is the fact that there is this new generation of guys who they'll laugh at that, but they lack the social skills. And that's really where game is at right now. And so I made sure that I introduced that in the introduction of the player's handbook, because game it's social skills. It's a social skill set is what it is. So it's not even just about so much like talking, you know, I mean, obviously guys want to talk to women and be good conversationalists, but as you were saying before, it teaches you other skills so you can get a job. So you can like talk to, you know, a police officer, so you can talk to your family, whatever it is, just so that you have those social skills. And I think that one of the things that's happened really for the, you know, the Generation Z, the Zoomers, right, is that because they've been acculturated and brought up behind a screen, they don't have that immersion anymore, so that they're learning those social skills that you would necessarily pick up from previous generations. So
now that's literally what he just said there in that little block was exactly what I brought up in the intro of what I was talking about. You know, these Zers or millennials, whatever jingo title you want to use, they don't know what they're doing. And game, which is social skill to interact and talk to the opposite sex, can help you in all other areas. So that's what Rollo was talking about there, and it's 100% right.
When he's talking about like how people think that it's ridiculous to talk about like neg hits or like amuse mastery or some of these old school principles, that was one of the motivations, the incentives for me to write the 5th book, because I wanted to let people know that there's a lot of psychology that's behind all of this. That seems like, oh, it's ridiculous. Well, that would never work on me. No, it would work on you. And here's why it would work on you, because there's psychological principles that are behind that. You just don't have those skills. So like when you were talking about how you guys have been on these shows and you're better speakers, you're better able to interact publicly. I'm a better speaker, a better public speaker today than I was when I was working with Pat Campbell back in 2018. And he was my mentor, right? So I learned a lot along the way. Yeah, rest in peace. I learned a lot from him. And so like I knew all the red pill stuff. I had it all down, how to deliver it and how to be a good conversation, how to tell stories about it. Because storytelling is a human need. Like we need to hear stories from people. We need to, that's how we understand like our surroundings. We pass on them for how we've done it, you know, throughout history.
It's how people were entertained before TV and
it's also how we taught the next generation what we.
Not only that, to just jump off of that. I mean, literally our religions that people follow in this modern society, Western, Eastern society. That's how it was told. The first stories and communication about things and people that had lived before were verbal, the verbal teachings of those people. And then on down the line, those teachings were put into books and, you know, various Bibles out there, and other things. So, again, right on that.
We knew from the previous generation as well. So we would have these, you know, folk tales and everything else, or it could be just cave drawings, you know, like here's how we killed the woolly mammoth.
Even in the Bible, that parables to display certain things you want to learn.
Storytelling is like part of human nature. And if you are unable to do that, or if you're unable to be entertaining, but if you're unable to at least be a good conversationalist, because that's really all, you know, social skills you rely on. Is really being able to tell stories really well and to tell them accurately, quickly, concisely. There's a great book. It's called Storyworthy, and I think it's Matthew Dix is the guy who I got it through Russell Brunson. I think is who suggested this. I didn't know this, but there's actually storytelling competitions. Like it's almost like, you know, cowboy poetry, but it's like storytelling jams. And you have between 8 and 12 minutes to tell a story. And then the audience judges you, and then they have like a panel of like 6 judges who doesn't necessarily have to be about you personally.
The thing is that women don't understand that they have a social gift where they're able to assess value immediately off of the way someone speaks, conveys themselves, etc. Men have to earn that skill set. Women are born with it. But what I will say is this: just because women are more socially calibrated than men doesn't necessarily mean that they're good conversationalists.
Yeah,
I want to make that very clear
absolutely
too.
not.
There's a lot of bimbos out there that are absolutely stupid and cannot necessarily hold a conversation. But what I will say is this: they're very good at assessing your conversational skills. I'm gonna make that very clear to everybody. I'm not saying, right, that girls are good conversationalists. A lot of them aren't. A lot of them are fucking dumb and they don't have the prerequisite knowledge, etc., to actually be able to hold a good conversation. However, they're very good at assessing your conversational skills and how you can hold their attention, etc. And be honest with y'all, if you're good at, you'll start to notice this because women are very like-minded. Once you're able to be attractive and tell good stories to one girl, more than likely other girls are going to find you interesting too.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, that's the #1 complaint I hear from when I'm dating a younger woman, like 18, 19, 20, 22. The first thing, if I ask them, what's it like dating guys in Miami? What's it like dating guys in Marbella? What's it like dating guys in London? What's it like dating guys your age? The #1 complaint is they can't hold a conversation.
Yeah.
The #1 complaint.
But isn't it funny though? They're good at picking people.
Bad hygiene. Those two right there are the top, like,
Bad
two.
hygiene.
For bad hygiene and that.
They're very socially aware, right? But they
All right. And that last part was great. You know, the young girls' complaints are that the guys, we were just talking about them, the young guys, the millennials, don't know how to have a conversation. You know, the girls are ready. Okay, that's how they talk about how the girls mature faster than boys do. Well, they do in certain social aspects, and one of them is exactly what Myron was talking about. They are innately better and more equipped when they get to the 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, you know, on down the line to communicate, hold the conversation, pull out conversations from other people, okay, than men are. Okay. And that is traits, that's biological. That's, you know, we are not innately conversationalists in terms of men. That's why, as he just said, we have to work at it. We have to, you know, build ourselves up to be better conversationalists so that when you get in front of a chick, right, you're not like just fumbling your words and, you know, it's like, okay, hi Jimmy, oh, I'm so glad you're here. What did you do today? Right, you know, you don't want to be that. Okay, you don't want to give the cricket sound or feeling to a chick. But that is exactly right what they were saying in that clip, and that's why I used it. Because I thought it was very, very poignant to what I was trying to get conveyed in this principle. You know, this, I call it the red pill principles, okay, of game. Okay. Everybody has game. It's been around since I used the 50s clip. It's been around a hell of a lot longer than that. Okay. And guys have worked at having it, you know, back long before then. Women were ready to go and better at it even back then. Okay. But you have to have it. It is a skill that you as a guy out there, and I'm talking to you, okay, out there, Mr. Millennial, okay, Mr., 16, 17, 18-year-old kid out there, okay. I'm also talking to the older guys out there, okay, the guys that might be hitting the social scene, okay. Notice how I didn't say dating scene, social scene, okay. Because the dating scene, in my opinion, has expanded out. Okay. It is no longer bars and clubs only. Okay. Or even exclusively. It is now, people's parties, house parties, functions. It could be anywhere. Okay. So social settings, you need to brush up and get yourself better at game, talking, interacting. Okay. And it's not, you can miss me on the, oh, well, what do you mean? I I gotta wear the boa and paint my fingernails and everything like. No, that's if you're coming at people in the space with that, you are just coming from circa 1998, okay, 97. Those days of POA are over. Okay. Now, I'm not saying that the skills and things that Mystery brought forth are, antiquated and obsolete. Absolutely not. Actually, exactly the opposite. I think they're very much important and they're in vogue, and those principles are the things you have to brush up on. All right, let me do some house cleaning here. Let's see. Again, I wanted to make sure that you guys subscribe, like the videos that you're watching. Okay, at the Red Lens, you can go to the Clips channel as well. Okay, comment on the stuff you're watching. Very important in the algorithm to do that. Next week, I will have the call-in studio back up. That way we can take some phone calls from you guys and we can go from there. Absolutely. I am trying to see where is that? I thought I had. Let's see. Yeah, so I wanted to do one other thing here and I'm trying to find it. Give me a second. What is this here? Those pirated. Every once in a while we get like these pirated like links. I hate that. It's like spam links now. So stupid. All right. So, all right. I'm having trouble with this one thing. I'm going to let it go. You know what? Let me just see one thing here. Hold on. I saw this one thing. You know what? I'm not going to do that because I don't know YouTube's policies right now. So we're not going to do that one. All right. All right. Let's see. The last thing that I want to talk about here is when should you actually start game or start honing your social skills? When should you do when is the best time? And I get that question a lot. When is the best time to do that? Well, the best time is yesterday. Okay. The best time to work on whether it's cold approach, even if again, a lot of guys they're so worried about going out, even if they're out with their buddies and getting blown out and crashing and burning when they talk to somebody, a chick or something. Just do it. Well, I mean, at the end of the day, the worst thing that could happen is she just says, I'm not interested, and then you have to start thinking of that as a win, guys, because your time is valuable. Okay. I've said this before in other streams. The most important thing we have in terms of a quantity is our time. Okay. That is perishable. Okay. Extremely perishable. So don't waste it. So if you go up to a chick, when you're out and it doesn't go well and, 4 minutes later it's done. Hey, okay. You move on to the next one and consider it a blessing because you didn't waste any more of your valuable time. So that is one of the biggest questions I get asked is, well, when should I do it? How should I do it? Well, you do it immediately. Start today. Okay. And I don't care where it is. You're in the grocery store, you're in a department store, whatever, you're in friggin' Target. If you see a girl that you like, and it presents itself, then, say something, comment about what they're shopping for. Maybe there's something nondescript in their hand. Okay. If it's, lingerie, I wouldn't go, saying something right away unless, well, maybe I would.
Oh my.
But you could do it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Practice game anywhere it presents itself. Okay? To the young Padawans out there, okay? As I'm your, red pill, overlord, as it were. Okay? Practice it any time it presents itself. That's what I will leave you guys with tonight. I want to just say to everybody out there that it's great again to be back. Again, subscribe, comment, like the videos right at youtube.com at the Red Lens. That is the main channel. From there, you can get the Red Lens Clips channel is also there. allmylinks.com/the Red Lens is exactly where you will find everything regarding the Red Lens and Chris Von Erich. You have to go and subscribe to all those things. This way you don't miss anything. Okay, and there's going to be a lot of things happening. There's going to be guests in this new studio area I have here. It's very nice. So definitely do that. Thanks a lot, guys, and I will see you next week.